Harper Audio presents Wild Justice by Phillip Margolin, read by Anna Fields. Copyright 2000 by Phillip Margolin. Production copyright 2000 by Books on Tape.
Revenge is a kind of wild justice. Francis Bacon. Acknowledgements. Many generous people helped me research and write Wild Justice. My thanks to Janet Billups, Ted Falk, Drs. Nathan and Karen Selden, Claudia Gravitt, Dr. J. Mead, Dr. Don Gerard, Marlis Pearson, Rabbi Emanuel Rose, Carol Byram, Debbie Wilkinson, Maggie Frost, Brian Hawk, the Honorable Susan Svetke and the equally Honorable Larry Matazar, Joseph, Eleanor, Judy, and Jerry Margolin, Helen and Norman Stamm, Dr. Roy Magnuson, Dr. Edward Grossenbacher, Dr. Michael Palmer, Drs. Rob and Carol Unitan, Dr. Stanley Abrams, and Jerry Elshire. Special thanks go to my tireless and relentless editor, Dan Conaway. Every reader who enjoys reading Wild Justice should also thank him. And thanks also to Bob Spicer for useful insights. I also want to thank Jean Nagar for finding me a home at HarperCollins. And as always, thank you to everyone else at Jean V. Nagar Literary Agency. You're the best. And finally, to Doreen, Daniel, and Amy. Thanks for putting up with me. Part 1. Cardoni's Hand. Chapter 1. A lightning flash illuminated the Learjet that waited on the runway of the private airstrip moments before a thunderclap startled Dr. Clifford Grant. Grant scanned the darkness for signs of life, but there were no other cars in the lot and no one moving on the tarmac. When he checked his watch, his hand trembled. It was 11:35. Breech's man was 5 minutes late. The surgeon stared at the glove compartment. A sip from his flask would steady his nerves, but he knew where that would lead. He had to be thinking clearly when they brought the money. Large drops fell with increasing speed. Grant turned on his wipers at the same moment a huge fist rapped on his passenger door. The doctor jerked back and stared. For an instant he thought the rain was distorting his vision, but the man glaring at him through the window was really that big, a monster with a massive shaved skull and a black knee-length leather coat. "Open the door!" the giant commanded, his voice harsh and frightening. Grant obeyed instantly. A chill wind blew a fine spray into the car. "Where is it?" "In the trunk," Grant said, the words catching in his throat as he jerked his thumb backward. The man tossed an attaché case into the car and slammed the door shut. Water beaded the smooth sides of the briefcase and made the brass locks glisten. The money. Grant wondered how much the recipient was going to pay for the heart, if he and his partner were receiving $250,000. 2 rapid thumps brought Grant around. The giant was pounding on the trunk. He had forgotten to pop the release. As Grant reached for the latch, another lightning flash lit the view through his rear window and the cars that had appeared from nowhere. Without thinking, he floored the accelerator and cranked the wheel. The giant dove away with amazing agility as the sedan careened across the asphalt, leaving the smell of burning rubber. Grant was vaguely aware of the screech of metal on metal as he blasted past one of the police cars and took out part of a chain-link fence. Shots were fired, glass shattered, and the car tipped briefly on 2 wheels before righting itself and speeding into the night. The next thing Clifford Grant remembered clearly was banging frantically on his partner's back door. A light came on, a curtain moved, and his partner glared at him in disbelief before opening the door. "What are you doing here?" "The police!" Grant gasped. "A raid! In the airfield? Let me in, for God's sake. I've got to get in." Grant's breathing came in rapid gasps as he stumbled inside. "Is that the money?" Grant nodded and staggered to a seat at the kitchen table. "Let me have it." Grant pushed the briefcase across the table. It opened with a clatter of latches, revealing stacks of soiled and crumpled $100 bills bound by rubber bands. The lid slammed shut. "What happened?" "Wait, I gotta catch my breath." "Of course, and relax. You're safe now." Grant hunched over, his head between his knees. "I didn't make the delivery." "What?"
Sample complete. Ready to continue?